Enjoy 1% merchant commission when you accept Lanka Pay cards. Contact these banks today.
Welcome to Times Online Interviews. Today we have the CEO of Hutchison Telecom Lanka Limited, Mr. Thirukumar Nadarasa. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
To start off with, we have had the worst ever economic crisis in the country. How is your company setting itself in the current economic context?
Yes, the economic crisis hit us in Q2 of this year, and it's been quite a big shock to us, and has had a big impact on the operations of the entire telecom industry, as well as Hutch. I think the biggest issue has been the daily power cuts that are impacting all our sites and bringing down some of the sites because we're not able to maintain service. And then secondly, the unavailability of diesel fuel has meant that our operations have also kind of ground to a standstill, where we are not able to go out to maintain our sites and also to supply our retailers with airtime. So the crisis has caused a lot of logistical issues for our operations here in Sri Lanka.
Mr. Nadarasa, what were the biggest challenges stemming from COVID-19 and spilling onto the current economic crisis?
When COVID hit us several years ago, it was a very large impact because the government quite correctly adopted a very tough stance in terms of lockdown. So we were pretty much locked down and locked into our houses for a very long period of time. But as you may know, Hutch, we in Sri Lanka, the telecom industry is essentially a prepaid business. So when they are locked up in their house for extended periods of time, they're not able to go out to top up. So that caused a significant strain on people's ability to keep in touch. Now, Hutch, as well as industry, tried to support the people by offering free airtime credit so they can keep and remain connected during these times. Also, for education purposes, we extended free connectivity to all the local universities so students could continue to study from home uninterrupted.
Mr. Nadarasa, could you tell us how the telecom industry has shaped because or due to these twin crises?
With COVID, I think the silver lining or the positive aspects of COVID was that people accelerated the use of online and digital recharging and digital e-commerce. So people were kind of forced to start using e-commerce sites to order their groceries, top up their phones. So that, I think, accelerated the digitization of the economy, which I think was a side benefit that we all gained from this. In terms of the economic crisis, I think people have become much more conscious and use of their vehicles, and I think that's also helped to perhaps curtail maybe exceptional consumption and make people realize how to control the expenditure in a better way.
Mr. Nadarasa, 5G has been spoken about for the last decade or so. Is 5G the future?
Yes. I think there's been some discussion in the industry over the last couple of years about launching 5G. Unfortunately, the economic crisis that has hit us this year may result in us delaying any launch of a serious 5G investment in this country. As you know, the telecom business is a very heavy infrastructure business. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and 5G is costs us double a 4G investment at least. So it's significant foreign US dollar investment that we need to do in order to deploy 5G. And in the current state of the economy, with forex reserves at a very low level, it'd be very difficult for us to consider deploying 5G in the present circumstances. So we may have to postpone this requirement for another year or so, until the country economic situation picks up again.
5G is known or is being talked about as the future of telecom. What is your take on this?
My personal take, I have been in the telecom industry for nearly more than 3 decades, and I've seen technology come and go. I can remember when 3G first came on the scene, it was touted as the latest future of technology. Then when 4G came on the scene, it was again touted as the next big thing in telecom technology to come along. So similarly now we're hearing the same theme with 5G as the next technology to come along. 5G is just another advanced version of broadband data. We already have 4G broadband data in place today with nationwide network servicing the people. 5G is just a bigger data pipe offering more capacity for consumers. There's yet to be seen any serious use cases coming up today that can really use 5G where 4G is not sufficient. So I think the 5G story may be getting a bit hyped up at this time, as has happened before, and we need to be careful and deliberate when is the best time that we should seriously think about deploying 5G. Understand the fact that smartphone penetration in this country is barely 50%. So people have not even, 50% of the population have not even got a 3G phone, never mind considering a 5G phone.
Let me interject. When your main competitors launch 5G, isn't there a risk of falling behind because other corporates and entities will be aligning themselves with those competitors and not you?
At this present time, particularly in Sri Lanka, 5G is a very niche product, a niche service that today only a very small percentage of the population can even consider to afford. 5G handsets themselves are very limited and extremely expensive. So again, the percentage of people who can actually use 5G services and can afford to use 5G services is still very limited today. So I would rather that the industry focus on expanding the broadband penetration in this country to enable everyone to have a basic broadband connection first before we focus on the small niche need of 5G.
What are the new products launched by Hutchison recently?
We have in the last few months launched the next phase of products, mobile products for the population in terms of unlimited data, unlimited world. We have launched unlimited voice, any net calling. We've given unlimited non-stop content packages and also non-stop data packages. So the industry in general is moving towards this kind of unlimited non-stop voice data products, which we have already launched into the market. And I think that's the next phase for people to use as affordable telecom services.
Mr. Nadarasa, what is very noticeable in Hutchison Telecom Lanka is that you concentrate on voice and data. You do not diversify, or you do not go into other businesses. Is this healthy for your business?
Right. I think the strategy that is adopted by Hutch Sri Lanka is the group strategy that we adopt globally as well. We're very focused on delivering affordable, accessible, wireless mobile services, and that is our core competence, is our core expertise, and we try to avoid diversifying into other sectors or services where we have little knowledge or core competence. This way we're able to focus and keep delivering the best quality, most affordable mobile service to the consumer and going forward in the future.
Hutchison Telecom globally is very large, and Sri Lanka is relatively small in its overall business, where so much so that industry people, they ask, is it worthwhile being in this country when your business is also small and the country, the whole population is also small, the population that you serve? Your take on this?
Hutchison Telecom, we're part of a global Fortune 500 multinational, CKH, where we are in a whole range of businesses, not just telecoms. We're in supermarket business, cement business, electricity business, water business, cosmetic business, So we're in many businesses around the world, not just telecoms. We look at each business as an individual standalone. So it's not so much the scale of the business we look at. We look at what is the opportunity that is offered to us in any opportunity in any country, and we make a decision on that basis. Like Sri Lanka, we also have similarly sized businesses or telecom operations in Europe. Our Austrian operations, our Denmark operations, our Swedish operations are very similar size. So I think we have such similar size operations globally, but each business is looked upon individually, or whether we can, is there an opportunity for us to invest and get a return.
Mr. Nadarasa, what is your take on consolidation of the industry?
Again, the telecom industry is reaching a certain stage of maturity, not just in Sri Lanka but globally, where when you start having mobile penetration rates in excess of 100%, you have to start looking at how many players you need to continue to serve the market. In the past, Sri Lanka had 4 mobile operators. Then we had the 5th operator joining us about 10 years ago. So we had 10 operators, or 5 operators, sorry. Now, obviously, with such a situation, consolidation is the name of the game, where we have to consolidate. And this is why 3 years ago, we made the decision to merge with Etisalat Lanka in Sri Lanka and combine our assets together into a larger outfit in order to continue to serve the market.
What is the rate of smartphone penetration currently?
The smartphone penetration in the country is barely 50% or 50% here. So more than nearly half of the population in Sri Lanka have yet to acquire a smartphone. They're still on the traditional Nokia feature phone, voice only, SMS only devices. Unfortunately now, with the current economic crisis hitting us in Q2, the price of handsets has doubled. So now even buying a smartphone today is going to cost you double what it cost you last year, which makes it even more difficult for people to be able to afford to join the broadband revolution.
Mr. Nadarasa, Sri Lanka has been discussing mobile number portability for some time now, but we still have not implemented it. Are we late to the party?
Yes, I believe, for whatever reason we are a bit late to the party. I think mobile number portability has been implemented in other countries in Asia more than 10 years ago, and perhaps it should have been implemented in Sri Lanka earlier. But however, we are now in the process of implementing mobile number portability. A separate company has been formed by the industry to implement mobile number portability, and we hope to deploy mobile number portability in the next 6 to 9 months.
Finally, Mr. Nadarasa, what does the future hold for Hutchison Lanka?
In Sri Lanka, as I mentioned about the mobile broadband penetration, with penetration of less than 50, of just around 50%, we still see a tremendous opportunity to grow the mobile broadband business here in Sri Lanka. We've deployed a nationwide 4G network that covers 95% of the population. So we continue to focus on expanding and growing the mobile broadband penetration in this country, and that's why we'll continue to do so in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nadarasa. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you very much.